In most parts of the world, you've at least heard of William Shakespeare, the 16th century playwright who, through now iconic plays, took the theatrical world by storm. So, of course, many filmmakers have attempted to adapt his plays to the big screen. But what about those films that took the source material and reinvented it, modernizing it to tell a similar tale, but in a new circumstance with newer, more relatable modern characters in a contemporary setting? Before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Every new sub helps us achieve our goal and keeps us motivated to create new content. With that being said, I'm your host, Jamie, and here are 10 modern films based on works of Shakespeare. Number 1. Romeo and Juliet. Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes graced the silver screen in 1996 with this modern adaptation of William Shakespeare's play by the same name. We see the Montague and Capulet family's younger generation in a battle at a gas station, when two are arrested and later released. The next day, Romeo and friends go to a party at the Capulet home, where Romeo meets and falls in love with Juliet, both of them not knowing they're of rival families. Romeo and Juliet get married, and she finds out she's supposed to marry the governor's son, Paris. Juliet has had a rough couple of days, as the day before this, Romeo murders her cousin because the cousin killed Romeo's best friend. Romeo is now banished, leaving Juliet alone and facing a marriage she doesn't want, or be disowned. She goes to Father Lawrence, who gives her a potion to mimic death. But Romeo misses the letter Father Lawrence sent explaining the situation. When Romeo learns of Juliet's untimely end, he goes to get his own potion. Running to her side, drinks the potion just as she wakes up. Overcome with despair, she takes the sword onto herself to end her suffering without the love of her life. It's tragic, and to me, not in any way romantic, as some may believe. The play and film are both set in Venice with Old English, and the same script for the most part. However, in the play, the families are both wealthy landowners feuding over some land, whereas in the film, they're rival companies. Also, in the play, the families find this affair of their kids abhorrent, claiming it's not real love. The star-crossed lovers is the basic storyline here. But at the root of the tale, it's about how hate, money, and power cause the loss of love. Make sure to enjoy this timeless classic on Google Play, Apple TV, Fandango, or Prime. Number 2. Coriolanus. Ralph Fiennes directed and starred in this 2011 film adaptation of William Shakespeare's tragedy that co-stars Gerard Butler. Fiennes plays the titular character Cassius Marcius, a general in the army who people are blaming for their famine and other social injustices. Set in a modern-day unnamed Balkan country that people refer to as Rome, this film otherwise sticks pretty close to the story and themes from the original play. In Coriolanus, Marcius leads a raid which results in massive casualty, which forces Marcius to meet up with his mortal enemy, Tullus Aphidius, played by Butler, and ask for his aid. The two have fought many times, always evenly matched. Both men end up being dragged away by their teams, and Marcius returns to Rome in victory after defeating Coriolanus, garnering him the nickname Coriolanus. His mother persuades Marcius to run for Senate, and surprisingly, he wins a seat. However, others believe he's going to overthrow the Senate and take over the government. When another riot threatens to tear the city apart, Marcius is called a traitor, which angers him, causing him to lash out against the general public. For this action, Marcius is formally accused of treason by some of the members of the Senate, and they banish Marcius. Once again, he seeks out Aphidius to have him take his life, just despite the ones who kicked him out. Aphidius sees Marcius' banishment as a good thing, combining forces and using him to lead an attack on Rome. The people of Rome try to persuade Martius to surrender, which falls on deaf ears, at least at first, until his wife is able to manipulate him to realign his allegiance to Rome. At the border, Aufidius confronts Martius about his betrayal, and the two begin to fight, Aufidius emerging victorious. The takeaway from all this is basically, don't chase power and greed. It never ends well. Martius just wanted to be treated equally at first, and have what he needs. But through his actions, others began to see him as a threat, and the tighter he tried to hold on to the reins of power, the more people bucked and revolted. Make sure to check out this epic battle on Tubi, Fandango, Plex, Prime, Freevee, Fubu, or Google Play. Number 3, A Midsummer Night's Dream. Michael Hoffman wrote, directed, and produced this film adaptation of William Shakespeare's fantasy romantic comedy with the same name. We follow a family who wants their daughter, Hermia, to marry Demetrius, Orpheus' death. She's given 4 days to figure out what she wants to do. However, she decides that she just wants to leave with her lover, Lysander. Helena, a friend of Hermia, is told about the plan of Hermia and Lysander, thinking they could trust her. Helena, though, has other plans, since she's head over heels for Demetrius. Meanwhile, Peter Quince, a director, takes his play to the forest after people in town scrutinized one of the actors. During this time, Helena confides in Demetrius about Hermia and Lysander, then about her undying affection of him. As Helena and Demetrius are wandering in the forest, they run into the king and queen of fairies, causing the king to send out a servant to create some chaos with the potion. This potion is used by spreading it across the eyes, and the first person you see, the user falls madly in love with the person they just saw. The servant first applies it to Lysander, who wakes up seeing Helena and falling so fast for her. During that portion, the actor is enchanted with a donkey head, but the Queen of Fairies also had the potion on her eyes, and comes across the actor in his unique form, making her fall in love with him. Then she takes him home. The king orders the potion to be used on Demetrius, but he also sees Helena first, causing a fight between him and Lysander. The king then gets bored and sets things right, and everybody belonging with who they love. I can't help but see some similarities to now, with people being enthralled with things that they might not have been aligned with before, often making excuses for the hateful gestures and acts that have been shoved down our throats. But take some time to enjoy this love story on Prime, Google Play, Apple TV, or Fandango. Number 4, O. Set in a high school, we follow Odin, a star basketball player who's awarded MVP by the coach, who passed over his own son Hugo for the award. Hugo is pissed and decides, with another student, to tell the dean that Odin sexually assaulted his daughter, Desi. Odin and Desi are a couple, but Hugo, even though he's in a relationship, wants Desi for himself and to destroy everything that Odin has. Hugo then gets 2 people to fight, one being a teammate who gets suspended from the next game. So Hugo tells the teammate to cozy up to Desi so she'll talk to Odin for him. This helps Hugo's plan, as he's able to tell Odin that Desi and the teammate have been spending a lot of time together, planting the seed of Desi cheating in Odin's head. At first, Odin doesn't believe this, but slowly the seed of infidelity begins to take root and grow, causing Odin to turn to drugs. Meanwhile, Hugo gets his girlfriend to take one of Desi's scarves and gives it to the teammate, which causes Odin to lose his shit. While Desi and Odin are participating in coital activities, Odin has a hallucination of the teammate on top of Desi, which infuriates him further, causing him to go off the deep end and assaulting Desi. Odin then sees the other teammate wearing the scarf and vows to kill Desi. He goes to talk to her, pretending everything was a misunderstanding, then strangles her to death. Hugo's girlfriend comes in just a tad bit too late and reveals Hugo's heinous plan, making Odin realize he's been played. O was set to be released in 1999, but due to the events at Columbine High School that year, studios pushed it back. They felt it was distasteful to release a film that has murder and self-murder at the ending, and wanting to stick to the original context of William Shakespeare's Othello, they didn't want to rewrite it. The cast was amazing, starring Mekhi Phifer, Josh Hartnett, and Julia Stiles, making it something teens in 2001 wanted to see. Take a walk down memory lane and check this out on Google Play, Prime, or Fandango. Number 5, Throne of Blood. This 1957 Japanese adaptation of William Shakespeare's infamous play titled Macbeth is considered to be the best adaptation ever. We follow samurai general Miki and Washizu, who are just returning home from defeating the Lord's enemies. On their journey, they meet a maleficent spirit claiming Washizu will become Lord and Miki will be a commander. When they get to the castle, the current Lord gifts the two men these titles. When Washizu tells his wife about this, she tells him to kill the Lord on his next visit. She ends up poisoning the Lord's guards, and Washizu enters the Lord's room and kills him. Washizu and his wife are able to pin the murder on one of the guards, but the Lord's son, Kunimaru, and an advisor believe it was Washizu and his wife. Kunimaru and the advisor try to warn Miki about Washizu's traitorous activities, but Miki doesn't believe him. Washizu then decides to name Miki's son his heir, and then learns his wife is pregnant, meaning Miki and his son need to be taken care of. Washizu becomes irate and drunk during a party and is seen swinging his sword around at nothing. This is when Washizu is presented with Miki's head, but the guards tell him that the son escaped, causing Washizu to strike the guard down. After some time, he loses his mind even further, as his son was a stillbirth. Washizu is eventually murdered by all his men, leaving arrows puncturing his armor, which, interestingly enough, the director shot real arrows at the actor to bring out that realistic sense of fear and make the sequence even more intense. Macbeth's tragedy is that he sought more and more power while facing a guilty conscience about what he has done, bringing him to question if all this madness is worth the power. Make sure to check out this epic tale on Plex, Max, Hulu, Prime, or Apple TV.
Hey guys, Amber Assault here. Just wanted to say thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you've been enjoying our content so far. If you'd like to support us even further, head over to fatninja.shop. We offer all sorts of merch from t-shirts, hoodies, hats, blankets, mugs, shoes, and more. We have a wide variety of styles and colors to choose from, and a size chart to help you find the right fit for your body. Each item that you purchase helps us keep the lights on, as well as funding our next film projects, so we greatly appreciate it. Clothing is made from high-quality material, and our partners over at Printful make sure to quality approve any items before shipping them out. Show us your support by wearing our logo and making a statement with these amazing designs. And make sure to tell all your friends about us. Again, thank you for checking us out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We also have an exclusive membership option, where if you join for only $1.99 a month, you'll get a 20% off coupon for being a member for more than 6 months, as well as future prize drawings when we reach at least 50 members. Love you all. Catch you guys later.
Number 6, Much Ado About Nothing. Based on William Shakespeare's romantic comedy of the same name, it left me with happy tears, even after all the chaos that happened. We follow Don Pedro as he and some of his noblemen go to visit a friend, Leonato. At the summit, we also meet Benedict, Claudio, and Don John. Claudio is entranced by Leonato's daughter, Hero, Beauty, so Don Pedro decides to be a matchmaker for the two. The two now want to get married, and because of this successful match, Don Pedro decides to match Benedict with Beatrice, Leonato's niece. But the two seem to hate each other. In order to get them to fall in love, Don Pedro talks about how much Beatrice loves Benedict with his friend, while Hero and her gentlewomen do the same. Don John is an ass and doesn't want any of this, so he tries to sabotage the relationship between Hero and Claudio. Don John set it up to make it seem like Hero was meeting up with another man and having a physical relationship with him on the eve of their wedding, making Claudio believe she's unfaithful to him. Constable Dogberry is there now to keep the peace, but overhears some of the men bragging about their trick. Dogberry then wants Leonato to question these men, but due to a lack of understanding, he doesn't. Now it's time for the wedding, and Claudio is still pissed, bashing Hero for what he believes she did. The friar, along with others, decide to publish a story that Hero died from the grief of Claudio's accusations. Beatrice then wants Benedict to kill Claudio, but Leonato intervenes at the right moment, explaining all of Don John's plans. Claudio, believing Hero is dead, agrees to marry another, but is relieved when it's revealed Hero is still alive and wanting to marry Claudio. Beatrice and Benedict also get married that day, leaving Don Pedro elated about his skills. It's truly a beautiful story and goes to show what some people will do when they're bored enough. Check out this phenomenal romantic comedy on Tubi, Pluto, Prime, Freebie, Fandango, Google Play, or Apple TV. Number 7, The Lion King. Disney adapted William Shakespeare's Hamlet into this 1994 classic. As the film begins, we are flying over the savannah as all kinds of animals are approaching Pride Rock to bear witness to the birth of the prince. King Mufasa and Queen Sarabi, along with Shaman Rafiki, present Simba to the land with such excitement. Scar, Mufasa's younger brother, is none too pleased with this, and has no interest in the new member to the family. Simba, now a cub, learns from Mufasa about the Pride Lands, the Circle of Life, and the stars are the kings that have passed, watching over them. Mufasa also warns the curious cub to not wander past the borders, since Mufasa can't protect him there. But Scar lets slip of an elephant graveyard just beyond the border. Curiosity now intensified, Simba and his friend Nala go to explore but are cornered by hyenas. Fortunately, Mufasa is able to get to the duo in time and save them both from the hyenas. Scar, now even more irritated, gets the help of the hyenas to overthrow the current royal family by killing Mufasa and Simba. Scar leads Simba into a gorge, telling him to stay put as he goes to get Mufasa for a big surprise. The hyenas then scare some wildebeests, causing a stampede in the gorge. But once again, Mufasa saves Simba from grave danger. This time, however, Mufasa isn't so lucky as he's trying to get help to get onto the ledge. Scar slams his claws into Mufasa's paws, flicking him off the safety of the wall. Scar then tells Simba to leave and never return, so he runs, with hyenas hot on his tail. But they never catch him. Scar saunters up to Pride Rock, revealing the deaths of Mufasa and Simba, and brings the hyenas into the Pride Lands. However, Simba is still alive and grows up with an unlikely pair, Timon a meerkat and Pumbaa a warthog. Timon and Pumbaa are essentially Rosencrantz and Guildenstern from the play. After some time, Simba has grown up some more, but one day, Timon is being chased by a lioness when Simba intervenes and she pins him. They realize they know each other, and she tells him he needs to go back home, but Simba fears what will happen when he does. Once he realizes he can't keep running from the past, he heads home and battles it out to take the rightful place as king of Pride Rock. Young me loved the happy ending, but once I realized this was a Shakespeare play, I had to know how it originally ended, and I'll tell you, it ain't happy. Hamlet and all others die in those final moments. It's quite tragic. But you can relive some happy memories on Disney Plus, Google Play, Apple TV, Fandango, or Prime. Number 8. 10 Things I Hate About You. Based on William Shakespeare's comedy, The Taming of the Shrew, we are presented with the 1999 adaptation, 10 Things I Hate About You. We're first introduced to Michael and Cameron as Michael is showing Cameron around on his first day at school. Cameron then sees Bianca and is completely smitten by her. But Michael warns she's just another conceited popular girl who can't even date due to her dad's rules. We see that Bianca is crushing on the popular senior Joey. We are also introduced to Kat, who is the smart girl who takes absolutely no shit and will call you out for it. Bianca really wants to date Joey, but her dad and Kat are against dating at all, so Dad makes a new rule. Bianca can date when Kat dates. Cameron asks Bianca out and learns that she can now date, but her sister has to date as well, which proves to be a big problem. Now Michael and Cameron are looking for the perfect guy for Kat, and then realize they could have Joey pay the guy, thinking Bianca will go out with him. We meet Patrick, who's your typical bad boy, and Joey offers up some money to get Kat to go on a date with him. Patrick tries and tries, but keeps getting rejected until the night of a house party. Kat and Patrick kinda go together, but Bianca goes to meet up with Joey, realizing he's just shallow. So she asks Cameron for a ride home, and then he gets back in the game. Meanwhile, Kat is obliterated, and now Patrick wants to make sure she's okay. Even drives her home, but Kat is pissed at the end of the night because he didn't kiss her. To make amends with Kat, Patrick decides to do a song and dance on the bleachers during one of Kat's practices. The two end up having a great afternoon, but when Kat questions him about what he'd get from going to prom with her, he fails to really answer and goes to light a cigarette, further pissing her off. Eventually, they all make it to prom, and Kat is met with her favorite band as the entertainment, and she and Patrick have a great time. All the while, Bianca learns of Joey's plans, but is there with Cameron. And Joey starts all kinds of problems, outing his plan of paying Patrick to take out Kat so he can be with Bianca. Bianca then beats Joey, and that alone is epic. After the prom though, an assignment is due in Kat's English class, where she reads all her emotions out about Patrick, and then walks to her car to find a guitar sitting in her front seat. Patrick used the money that Joey gave him to buy her that guitar. In the play, it's not so sweet between the two, as he breaks her down to become the perfect bride. So I prefer this story versus the original. Go have a nostalgic moment and check this out on Peacock, Disney Plus, Google Play, Prime, Apple TV, or Fandango. Number 9, 1,000 Acres. 1997 brought us this unique adaptation of Jane Smiley's novel of the same name that was loosely based off of William Shakespeare's play King Lear. We follow a farmer, Larry, living in Iowa with his 3 daughters, Rose, Ginny, and Caroline. Larry has decided to retire and split the land between the girls, but Caroline would rather follow her dream of being a lawyer, making Larry disown her from the family. Rose and Ginny start running the farm with the help of their husbands. Larry's aging and all the stress he has dealt with from the family, he begins to show signs of senile dementia, often showing his way is the right way to work a farm. Ginny and Rose, who were once close, see a tear forming in their relationship, as Rose confronts Ginny about sexual abuse from their father, but Ginny doesn't believe it happened, that Rose is lying. Well, as everything starts to boil over, a delusional Larry decides to sue Rose and Ginny with the help of Caroline being his attorney. This lawsuit destroys the family, making Rose and Ginny realize their truth and their strengths as they learn to survive outside the farm. In the Shakespeare play, King Lear wants to retire, so divides the land between the 3 daughters. 2 of them agree to it, while the 3rd wants nothing to do with this land, causing Lear to disinherit her. The King of France becomes impressed by the 3rd daughter and marries her. Turns out, his other daughters thought he was a foolish old man. Lear ends up on his own journey to take the throne back, but due to all the trials and tribulations he's encountered, King Lear dies with no person taking control. It's really interesting to see the differences and similarities, but you can check this out on Google Play or Prime. Number 10, My Own Private Idaho. Loosely based off William Shakespeare's historical plays Henry IV, Part 1 and 2, and Henry V, we follow Mike, who's just standing on a deserted road, realizing the road looks like a messed up face when he passes out due to a narcoleptic episode. The dreams running through his mind are of his mother caring for him. That night, Mike gets oral pleasure from a client and then returns to his best place for acquiring new clients. This is where he meets with an older woman who takes him to her mansion. Once there, Mike finds his friend Scott and another guy, Gary. Mike ends up passing out again and wakes up with Scott in Portland. Scott knows he's got some inheritance lined up for when he's 21, but Mike just wants to find his mother. Mike also proclaims his love to Scott, but Scott turns him down in exchange for help to find his mother. Mike's older brother seems to have some information imperative to Mike's family. Scott and Mike are led to a hotel where it's reported that his mother works there, but currently on vacation in Italy. This is when they meet Camilla, and Scott and her fall in love, and according to Camilla, Mike's mom is in the States. So the trio travel back to Portland. Once they're in Portland, a gang leader confronts Scott, but the leader ends up dying of a heart attack, causing the rest of the gang to become unruly. At the end, we see Mike back on the deserted road and passes out again, but this time, people stop. One passerby takes Mike's shoes and wallet, while another comes and tries to help Mike into his car. The play is more in depth of the political commentaries and what King Henry IV did, but the film takes the side stories of the prince and other people bringing that further into the light. Either which way, this epic story can be seen on Prime or Google Play, so go check it out. Thanks for checking out the video. Did we leave any films off the list? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to tap that bell icon to stay up to date with our latest releases. You can reach out to us on Twitter or X at StudiosFat, or chat with us on Discord, linked below. We're also now on Blue Sky. You can find us at studiosfat.bsky.social, which will also link below. If you're really enjoying our content and want to help support us, click that join button for exclusive content, rewards, and perks. Make sure to check out our very own merch store located at fatninja.shop. All proceeds go towards our next film project, so we'd greatly appreciate it. I've been your host, Jamie. Thanks again. See you in the next one.